In an age of constant noise, movement, and digital distraction, stillness is not just rare, it's nearly extinct. But there was a time when stillness wasn't seen as laziness or inactivity. It was revered, it was sacred, and it was practiced with the same discipline as swordsmanship or scripture study. Medieval monks, hermits, and mystics understood something we've almost entirely forgotten: that stillness isn't about doing nothing, it's about accessing a deeper realm of clarity, focus, and spiritual alignment. They weren't wasting time sitting silently in candlelit cloisters. They were engaging in one of the most powerful psychological and spiritual disciplines ever developed by the human mind. Today, we meditate with noise-canceling headphones and track our calmness with apps. But these ancients sat in cold stone cells, faced their thoughts raw, and through sacred silence, they confronted the chaos within, not just without. This video is about the forgotten art of sacred stillness, how it shaped the minds of monks, warriors, and philosophers, and how reclaiming it, even just for 10 minutes a day, could radically shift your modern life. When we hear the word stillness today, we might imagine idleness, rest, a short break from productivity. But in the medieval worldview, stillness was not a luxury. It was a sacred posture of the soul. In monasteries, the idea of silence was not merely the absence of sound, it was a form of inner alignment. Silentium in Latin carried a weight that we've lost. It meant receptivity, readiness. It meant tuning your entire being, not just your ears but your thoughts and desires, to something higher, something eternal. In fact, medieval theology considered noise to be spiritually dangerous. Noise didn't just disrupt focus, it scattered the soul. Each spoken word, each impulsive reaction was like striking the surface of still water. The more noise, the more distortion, the less you could see the reflection of what mattered most. Monks weren't silent just to be quiet, they were practicing resistance. Silence was a rebellion against the ego's desire to be seen, heard, and validated at all times. The rule of Saint Benedict even warned against the disease of many words. Because in the monastic view, talking too much wasn't just rude, it was dangerous. It made you forget your mortality. It pulled you out of awareness and into attachment. In a world where external chaos was the norm, plagues, invasions, poverty, the monks understood that the only real sanctuary was internal. Stillness was not escapism. It was spiritual armor. And here's the paradox. They believed that in stillness you moved closer to truth than in any action. That by becoming motionless, you could begin to truly see yourself, the world, and the divine order behind it all. You wouldn't expect someone to pick up a sword and master it overnight. And medieval monks didn't expect to master stillness simply by wanting peace. Stillness was trained, rigorously, ritually, relentlessly. Monastic life was structured with military precision. Every hour had a purpose. Every bell signaled a transition from outer task to inner work. The entire architecture of a monastery, from the layout of cloisters to the echo of stone walls, was designed to promote inward silence. Not just quiet around you, but stillness within. They had the Great Silence, a tradition in which no words were spoken from sunset to sunrise. Even meals were taken without speech, as sacred texts were read aloud by one voice, while the rest listened in reverent quiet. Copying manuscripts for hours, done in silence, sweeping the cloisters, silence, praying the hours, silence between each verse. But this wasn't repression, it was refinement. The silence wasn't meant to erase the self, but to distill it, to strip away distraction until only the essential remained. And in that essential space, something remarkable happened. Monks began to experience lucidity, a clarity of mind so deep it bordered on the transcendent. We call it flow state today. They called it union with the divine. And just like sword training, it was often painful. Because stillness has an enemy: restlessness. Every monk, no matter how devout, had to confront the monkey mind. The cravings, the distractions, the dark memories and random thoughts that arose when all external stimulation was gone. And yet they sat through it, day after day, year after year, until their mind no longer resisted stillness, but craved it, until peace was no longer a fleeting moment, but a practiced, trained internal fortress. In our world, silence is nearly extinct. We plug in our ears to avoid it. We scroll to fill every gap. We fear the empty space between our thoughts like it's a threat. But what if stillness wasn't a void? What if it was a doorway? The monks would tell you, you can't find truth in noise, not because noise is evil, but because it's loud, and truth whispers. Modern life has reversed the medieval rhythm, where they centered their lives around stillness and inserted brief action. We center our lives around constant action and insert the occasional guilty pause. But this has come at a cost. We've lost the ability to sit with ourselves, to watch a sunset without needing to photograph it, to eat a meal in silence, to breathe without multitasking. And yet, deep down, we yearn for it. That's why we crave mindfulness. That's why we burn out, retreat, and dream of running away to cabins in the woods. The good news is, you don't need a monastery. You don't need to disappear for 20 years. You need to remember. You need to reclaim sacred stillness, not as a productivity hack, but as a form of rebellion. A quiet revolution against a world that wants your attention, your dopamine, your soul. Reclaim 10 minutes a day. Sit. No phone, no task, no stimulation. Just breathe. Let the chaos rise and watch it settle. Because beyond the noise, beyond the restlessness, is the part of you that never needed fixing. Only space, only silence, only stillness. Stillness isn't just spiritual, it's profoundly psychological. Modern neuroscience confirms what medieval monks intuited centuries ago. Silence changes the brain. When you allow yourself to be truly still, your brain waves slow down, your heart rate stabilizes, stress hormones drop, the mind moves from frantic chaos to calm order. This state, often called the rest and digest mode of the nervous system, is where healing happens. Where memories are processed, insights emerge, and creativity sparks. Medieval mystics may not have had MRI machines, but through practice, they reached these deep restorative states naturally. Their daily silence was like a reset button, clearing emotional clutter, calming anxieties, and sharpening focus. This wasn't passive rest. It was active regeneration. Even warriors knew this. The greatest knights practiced stillness before battle, controlling their breath, quieting the mind, steadying the body, because they understood that the loudest battle isn't outside, it's inside. Imagine the strength it takes not to act impulsively, to watch your fears, your doubts, your anger, but not be ruled by them. Sacred stillness built mental resilience. It taught patience. It fostered discipline. And it created a space where true wisdom could arise. You don't need a stone cell or a monastic robe to practice sacred stillness. You just need intention. Start small. Find 10 minutes in your day, morning, noon, or night, where you can sit quietly. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just you and your breath. Notice the urge to move, to check your phone, to escape. Sit with it. This resistance is the battle. Winning it is the practice. Create rituals. Light a candle. Find a special chair or cushion. Make it a sacred appointment with yourself. Remember, monks didn't just sit in silence, they prepared for it. You can do the same. Slow your breathing. Focus on your heartbeat. Return your mind gently each time it wanders. Over weeks, this practice will grow roots. You'll start noticing moments of clarity during the chaos of the day. You'll build a refuge inside your mind, a place of calm no one can steal. And if you're ready, Deepen the practice. Try walking meditations, moving silently with awareness, our journaling after stillness to capture insights. Sacred stillness is more than silence. It's an awakening, a reclaiming of power in a noisy world, a bridge back to yourself. The monks and mystics of old weren't simply avoiding noise. They were guarding the gateway to their souls. In a world that demands speed, distraction, and constant stimulation, sacred stillness is a radical act, a declaration that your mind and spirit deserve space. That peace is not a luxury, but a right. So today, take that step. Turn off the noise, sit in the stillness, feel the weight of centuries of wisdom settle around you. Because when the world is loudest, the greatest strength comes from the quiet places inside. Remember, stillness is not absence, it's presence, not emptiness, but fullness. And in that fullness lies your truest self.